I wasn't the only one that fell asleep down there because I was already mad because we had to go. My question to you is this. In our church, we actually went to the altar on our knees. Back in the old days, you went down on your knees. Why couldn't he just take his whole family up there and just pray? Why we had to get up at 9 o'clock?
Our culture, Daddy believed in prayer. So it had nothing to do with the church.
I believe in prayer
for his house.
At 9 o'clock on Sunday morning after we was there.
Okay. 9 o'clock.
So she said it was our culture. That's why we was on our knees after we know we were gonna stay at church long. With our sandwiches, we go get our lunch. Shout out to Marshall and York Street, the Poppy store that had the turkey sandwich and the Kaiser roll that was soft. I couldn't think of nothing too much because I was trying to wait till lunchtime. But our family, we couldn't eat till after the preacher sit there. Like everybody had a time when they were going to eat their lunch.
You know how in the Bible it has the synoptic gospels. You got Matthew, you got Mark, Luke, and John. It's the same story, but from 4 different versions.
So this wasn't your version.
I grew up with you, and I'm laughing because I didn't know you felt that way. I would like to know what the rest of the siblings felt.
That was a long time in church, Gail. That was a long time for me. And then Daddy would say,
but maybe you just don't, because it was church, you didn't like to live. Shopping, you didn't like to live.
It was a live. That's what, and today, that's why when we sing or something, we do an elevator pitch. Somebody give us 20 minutes to sing, and you know what I do in the dressing room, Gil? We're gonna be finished in 10 minutes. I'm learning to get over it, but that's why I say that because I don't think we had to stay up there 20 minutes. We don't, just because somebody gave it to you, you don't have to do that. Just like we didn't have to say that wrong testimony. When we asked Daddy to say the grace, he was praying for the President of the United States in the grace. Everything was just wrong. So that was the issue to mine. That's why I said, somebody probably say, that's all your issue was? Yes, that was one of them. So I'm dealing with it with laughter. That's my topic for me tonight is you have to laugh about some of the stuff that you was angry about, and then you have to forget. There's people still, if I talk to some people, they talk just like me, like they still mad like it happened yesterday.
So what are you going to do besides laughing?
Well, I don't run from testimony now. I'm learning how to.
Well, they don't do that anymore.
I know they don't, but I'm talking about. I'm getting better with patience, like shopping. I still take people shopping. When I say I'm laughing, I deal with going in the store and stuff. Everything that used to bother me, I try to do the opposite and to work it out. Now I'm not going to tell you I'm going shopping every day, but once a month I can do this because it's my mindset. When you change your mind about anything, I think you can do it.
Now you said forgiving in laughter. So have you forgiven?
I really have. I have. Because like I realized he went to those different stores because he had a big family. So you had to praise the man for taking care of his family. So yeah, I don't hold nothing, but for a long time I did. I did because I didn't think that you was considerate.
Yeah, you can laugh now because it's the understanding.
It's understanding. Yeah.
But and that'll happen and it's going to be something else.
That can be by anything. That's a relationship. This is work relationship. Anything, you still carry something that happened to you in life, but the new person, or the new relationship, or whatever it is, they feel the effect of that because you didn't let it go. You hear some people, they had a bad relationship. Now the person they with or met had nothing to do with what happened to you. But if you don't forgive, if you let that trauma or whatever happened to you keep lingering, everybody in your life will suffer for, from you not letting it go. Letting it go is for you. It's for me. I had to let it go so I can have peace. I can walk in church or walk in somewhere that I know when the hour's going to be, and I'm okay.
But do you understand that one thing you may have gotten over it? Like some people, they don't do drugs no more.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever that drove them to the drug, they still put that energy into something else, so it becomes another addiction.
It's like give me an example. You say
Like where someone will go to drugs to fill a void.
mm-hmm.
So they don't do the drugs no more. But now they picked up something else.
Yeah.
It's just as potent.
Yes,
because it's addiction, right?
Yeah.
So I know you say you got over the shopping, you laugh about it.
No, I'm working on it. I haven't got over it.
You're working on it.
I'm working on it.
So you worked on the testimony.
Yes.
Okay, so are you going to work on the singing, the patience in the singing? Because sometimes what you don't like, you can transfer on to others, and people will react out of because you don't like long or the length of things. So you would tell me, we're gonna sing 5 minutes.
I gave you more than 5 minutes.
But you always tell me.
I know, but I'm telling you now.
But
have I got better?
You gotten better.
Yeah.
But
I'm working on it.
But I'm just saying, this is something that can be across the board. What one individual don't
you
like.
love it, and then somebody to put that on you because they don't like it. I get what you're saying. So
and that's in anything.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm working on every time I catch it or whatever it is, especially if somebody bring it to my attention. But if I don't never say what it was, I can't even get help in it. So I'm letting people know now. Just like sometimes the singing is anything long, but then Daddy used to say to me, if it's something that you like, you wouldn't mind how long. But that was a revelation. But that's supposed to be he was revealing something. But if I like it, I stay. You know what I'm saying? So that had nothing to do with. That's what made it fun to me because I like it. But I try to enjoy something that somebody else like too. So I'm trying to get better. I realize what I do. That's why I just mentioned it.
Not only you, others do it too. What they don't like, you wind up being that same way in your dealings.
Yeah.
If you don't like the list of things, you put it on
others.
You put that.
So most of the time, okay, maybe you that's watching, you can have your say to this. Then I won't go, so I won't mess up your day. I know we got to sing, so I can't. But if it's something that I really still haven't gotten over, or before I mess up somebody else's fun day, that's what I was saying about the shopping. Because I don't want to take someone shopping and make them feel bad.
But when people know that that's how you feel, so that's when the eggshells come in. That's in anything.
So how do you be truthful? If I'm telling you this Bible, but I'm working on it, that still make you walk around on eggshells?
Because in the back of your mind, I don't want to prolong the time. I want to get off the floor or whatever the case may be.
Well, how do we work on this? Because I believe in telling my truth.
It's your truth. And
sometimes the truth hurts or could damage more. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. And sometimes versus just learn the vocabulary of
work in silence. Some things you don't have to say. I'm just trying. I'm
not telling you not to say it. I would say don't do it. Because when you may say that it's okay, but it shows. It's the freedom is not there, and then you'll have other people. Well, I can't be free in what I do because I'm being considerate of you. Because we always talk about consideration of others. So we'll wind up being that thing that we didn't like that somebody else did.
Well,
We're
going to revisit this because then I don't know how to, because then it should be a give and take.
It is a give and take.
Sometimes you can sing for 20 minutes, and sometimes you need to sing 10. for both of us to get something out of it. I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works because I don't think still today I don't want to do something wrong. So I don't know if I ever get over it. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe I just won't be a part of it.
Maybe if it's something like you said that you like, maybe you will put the time in. If it's something that you don't like, then
Yeah.
And we say we're doing it for others, but
some things you have to. I think you have to. It can't be just your way, just my way. So but then the other person needs to be considered. If I told you that this is something that I don't like, then I think it's a give and take. That's how relationship is.
Or for any party, then knowing that, don't do it.
But you can't always be like that. Then somebody having their way.
I mean, I don't.
If I don't, what do you mean don't do it? What do you mean by that? Don't do it.
Like if I know that it's something that you don't like, unless it's a dire need, and I know the details, I wouldn't ask you to do it.
Okay.
And then a lot of times because you're looking out or trying to be helpful, you'll put yourself in a position to help me, but then you won't be satisfied or you won't be confident. I know.
I get what you're saying, but it's a give and take in relationship. You're not always going to be comfortable, but love will make you. Once I understand, I'm understanding. Gail likes this. I'm just using this as an example. So sometimes I could be okay with doing that. And then you say, Jackie don't like this, or whoever you do. So I won't do this all the time. There's some people what I was talking about in church, they had no consideration, period. There was no consideration that we sat there for 2 hours.
They didn't know to consider, because that's what they thought church was about.
I get it.
We know a lot of things now, looking back in retrospect,
but it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things that go in people's lives. Period. That is no consideration for the other person, and I'm trying to say some of this stuff happens, so you can't keep on being angry about it. It comes to a point where I had to forgive about the very thing. And some people still do the same thing. But it's an understanding, my perception of it. I don't want to wear that when you come in the room or something happened, that you spoil my whole day because we get ready to go shopping. I don't want that. Even if I don't ever get over it, I don't want that much power to be over me.
Another way to get over it is tell you the truth.
That's what I said.
You tell it to me now.
No, I tell the people that I take shopping. I told them.
Tell it.
But I have some that is considerate and understand that. This is what I do. For some that don't pay attention to what you said, I said, look, how long you gonna be in the store? How long you need to shop? I'll drop you off. Just call me about 15 minutes before you finish. I'll come back again. This is how I settle it. Yeah. I will not take you. I will not help you. But you're going in every time. You're not considering me. You're going in and stay 2 hours next time. It's something.
Boundaries.
It's boundaries you to take. But I've never. Some people I have to leave alone for stuff that really bothers me. But I'm the type of person. Well, you know me. I'll make anything work. But what I'm not going to do is hold unforgiveness. So some of the stuff I'm using for me, I laugh about it. That helps me. Somebody else might use something else that helps them. So I'm just giving a suggestion. Maybe some of the stuff that you really going through, if it ain't too bad, just laugh at it and keep testimony time is funny to me. I had to laugh at it because I don't, to this day, I still don't know what testimony means. Do you feel what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Yeah. So just to laugh at it because you if that's somebody's testimony, they have to stand up and say what they want to say. But for me, I thought it was something special that happened. But Dad used to say the same thing every time. So
it wasn't a testimony.
It wasn't. But I can't stop you from doing it. Because he wouldn't speak until he left. He testified. Your father.
Yeah. I look back at a lot of things.
You had fun. Okay.
I did. I enjoyed.
I don't know how to talk to you because you enjoyed a lot of things that just. I wish I had that because I'm not being funny. I wish I knew what made you enjoy some of the stuff that you enjoyed. Just like after we stayed at church at 5 hours on Sunday, you know we had what? What we had at 7 o'clock? Family meeting, right? You enjoyed that too. I could tell from your face. She enjoyed family meeting that we done stayed in church all day, but he wanted to know what did we get out of the service. And you didn't know this, but I told you go first because I knew you listened. You paid attention to what the preacher said, and you had you knew the whole sermon almost. So I knew that I would get something to say to Daddy from you. But I wouldn't say I wouldn't say all you said. I just take a piece of it, right? Because I didn't want him to think that, that I wasn't paying attention. So that would look like I wasn't paying attention. I said the same thing she said. So I take a little bit of it. And then what I did, because I was into music and love songs, I'll start telling him what the people sung. Now he said, tell me about the word. I was telling him, well, Ain't Glory sung this, and the music went like that. And so y'all was laughing, but it was my expression of what I got out of church. I got out of church what I got out of church with me, but he didn't ask for that. So then he think I was being funny. I wasn't being funny. I didn't know what the pastor said. I think after 15 minutes, and maybe it's a problem I have, I that's enough for me. 2 hours of preaching or 1 hour, 15 minutes of preaching for me. At the first 15 minutes, it's not the elevator pitch. Tell me what you're going to tell me by the time we get to the 9th floor. Some people, attention span is short. Mine was short that I couldn't pay attention. But I can tell you every song that's sung because that's what I was interested in. So
the truth of the matter that you're saying now because of your attention span.
Evidently it was because I couldn't sit long. Like in school, they give you recess. In classes, at 45 minutes, even when I'm looking at a film, it could be something I like. I fall asleep. It's too long for me. I didn't know it at the time, but something real long I lose interest. Even in stuff that I like. I love ball. I love watching baseball or basketball. I'm not going to do that all day.
So the bottom line is being able to trace it back, and find out what the real issue is. Yeah,
because you have to start forgiving because you realize there was a problem that they didn't detect in me that I had, sure. But to be mad at somebody 60 years later over that, I don't want that much power over. I don't want that. That's sickness to me.
And that's with anything. I remember being a property manager at a transitional house, and for the residents to come in, I had to interview them. And one of the things I had to ask, what was your choice of drug? And then when did you start doing it? So a lot of time we'll start at the height of things, but you have to go to the root. And I always say that because it's a reason why people do what they do.
Mhm.
It just don't come upon them. Something led them to
Right.
that. And if you trace it back, wherever that void was, whatever you was missing, you reached out because you was trying to feel something. So if you trace back, you'll find out. It could be abandonment, it could be rejection, anger. A root have branches. So sometimes you gotta pick apart. People don't know what's wrong with them. And especially if there's no one asking them or concerned enough.
Okay.
Why are you feeling it? What happened to you? Sometimes we don't want to ask those questions, but we have to. Because if you just don't, some things is cycles, some things are hereditary. Some things you don't even know that it's not your problem, but you have to deal with that. If it falls down through lines, you don't know why you acting. You have to, like they ask you when you go to the doctor, has anybody in your family had this, that, and the other? They're asking for a reason. Because a lot of time, if your parent had something or your forefathers, it's going to get somebody.
Okay.
That's that same thing.
So this is what I'm dealing with even when I talk to people, but I have to start with myself first. Why do you feel this way about this? Where it come from? So little digging, sometimes you'll find out if you go back to why even I'm doing what I do. So I think mommy, if I remember correctly, daddy dealt with us a lot.
I was about to say,
She
didn't have a lot of patience.
She didn't have a lot of
and
tolerance.
She didn't like noise. It's a lot of things that she didn't do.
Right. So sometimes trace back your history, trace back your, we're going to deal with this, we're going to have some episodes on the DNA, the reigning spirit, what's over your region, what's over your family. You know, some people don't realize sometimes you be the third or fourth generation and it comes up, but if you don't even know your family history or what went on, so it's sometimes you see, oh, you act like Uncle so you did this, but if you never talk about it, you never know where it came from. So I'm having fun with this. I'm not being funny, but it's I have to. That's why I say I use laughter because it's not really funny, but that's the way I cope with it. Laugh at some of this stuff. And church was a traumatic for me. Coming up strict was it was a lot of things. But then when I look at it, wasn't just the culture. I had to look at mommy. I had to look at daddy. When we would, what was the herb store coming up? If anybody come from North Philly, we had a Heinzman at was it Six and Gerard, where my mother would go and get nerve pills for us, the children. It was this little white pill. It dissolves in your mouth. I was trying to see why she giving it us. She needed it. she the one was nervous. I wasn't nervous. We was kids. We was doing what we kids do. She was putting all these nerve pills in our mouth. Like why were we on nerve pills? Was we made her? We made her feel like we had a nervous problem. We were just being children. But we're laughing about it. You gotta laugh.
She didn't have children
until she was
older.
How old is she? 35, 33? Yeah, she should have had some at 19 because some of that stuff she did, though. But it was
patience, tolerance, and I look at today, you got to be up to deal with toddlers and remember it was 6 of us. Stair step every other year. Yeah. It was a lot. Yeah. So and people don't talk about the mental effect. Yeah. You know, because church was the culture, we didn't talk about natural things.
She talked about her faith so strong that we didn't we ignored. But as I got older, I was like, this, you know, there was issues here. But if you don't want to deal with them, we will. I'm going to talk about it because it's stuff that
A lot of times when you're in the midst of something, you
Then
don't
after she
know.
came out of it.
I'm talking
She
about as
was-
far as us.
Yeah, us
Like,
we're talking about, but I
yeah.
tried to go back after she came out of it to talk about some stuff. But she was in that frame that she done her best. That's another thing. It's nothing bad, but because that was your best, don't mean it was the best. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure if you sit with your children, you probably think you done the best. And you have to respect that, but just because it was your best, don't mean it was the best thing. So it's not like we're trying to, I would never want any other parents. They was great, but some of their best was not the best. And it's okay to sometimes to say, I missed the mark, or I did my best, but what did I do? Don't act like we're saying that we don't like you, or you was a bad mother, you was a bad father, you was a bad husband, you was bad. Just sometimes the best wasn't the best.
Yeah.
And I did it too. There's things with your children and Darlene's children and little Derek and those little people that I had. I was calling myself doing my best, but that as I look back, that wasn't you could have done. If I knew better, I would have done better. But at least I hear it when they come to say, Aunt Jackie, you did this. I don't say, well, that was my best. You. No, I said, you know what? Aunt Jackie didn't know. I'm glad that you told me, and I'm sorry about that. But what could I do to help you now? But but everything wasn't the best.
I took a class one time when the help hurts. You think you're helping,
Yeah,
but you're actually hurting.
people. Yeah. So it's just life lessons. We just having a talk. We just sitting here talking of some things that we went through in life, and then we can help you. Some things people who have children now, sometimes just think about stuff that you do. I'm not saying that you gotta bend to them or nothing, but sometimes just take a thought process. Why did I do that? Sometimes you're doing stuff because your mother did it to you. Sometimes it's the cycle carries on, goes on. But
You can't stop.
huh?
If you're willing to face it with honesty, sincerity, courage, and being humble, you gotta humble yourself for someone to even tell you the truth.
Yeah. I had to learn a lot of things. Like my husband is deceased. I had to learn a lot of things, and even dealing with my relationship. That wasn't good what I did. Some things just wasn't good, but that's all I knew. But then when we sat down and talked to each other, you have to be a give and take. It's like, this is all I know. I'm sorry, or or apologize, or try to change. But that just because your father or your mother did that, or I'm going to bring it over to my relationship or bring it into somebody else's life. It's just.
But you don't know you're doing that. Sometimes you think it's right.
But if somebody's talking to me and telling me I don't like, that's not how I was raised, and you're in a relationship, you got to talk about it. You don't know, but if you don't even want to hear it, this is what my dad did, this is what my mother did, it's, they didn't do the best, they didn't do everything right, so even if that's what I thought that they did right, be a little lenient to say, well, maybe I can look at that, maybe it's something I can change. It ain't gonna kill me to try to do better. Some things probably worth taking a look at.
So, it is.
Yeah.
Because I'm experiencing that now in my life. I had to go back and ask my kids to forgive me.
Say it loud. I want to hear this.
I had to go back and ask my children
To
forgive me.
Okay.
I tried, but whatever I was dealing with, that's how I knew. Well, I thank God for the chance again.
So I want to say before we end this podcast, today you should ask your sibling that's sitting right here to forgive you for some of the stuff that you did to me. Right? So since we're going to turn on forgiveness and laughter, I'm saying there's a lot of things that she calls me, but I have never got her apology.
Online tonight. What's the date? May the 7th, 2025. I'm asking my sister Jackie to please forgive me for involving her in my mess.
No, I want you to say what the mess was. No, I'm just joking. That's a cop out. That's a cop out. No, I'm just joking. But sometimes you have to go back to people and say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, I'm sorry. Forgiveness is for you. It's for your health. It's for you to have peace. I don't want someone to walk in my space and change my mood over something that happened 30 years ago. You know, some people is mad at each other and they don't even know where it began, where it started. That's a lot of power to still have, and you don't even know what it's about. So sometimes just take some time to think about what you're going through.
But she hung in there with me, right, wrong, or indifferent.
That's what family and life
it is. But still, I need to say
a lot of that stuff was wrong. you had me out there. This is going to be alive today. I mean, we're going to talk about it. We're going to have some episodes coming up where we're going to talk about reigning spirits. Like I said, DNA. Preparing for your assignment. Some people don't know. Like I tell people, I don't have children. I don't have biological children. But if I could tell you how many I have raised. So sometimes your assignment just can be to help someone else out. But at that time, we were both young. But I did my best. So I asked for apology. I asked for forgiveness for teaching your kids some of the stuff that I told them. But I was trying to have fun with them. I knew what they was going through. So sometimes in that respect,
you asking me or asking them? Because I don't.
Well, I already asked them to forgive me.
Listen, I don't know what you taught them.
Well, I mean, they had their first drink with me. Okay. They, wine coolers, but we wasn't saying that. I did a lot with children that wasn't supposed to be done, but they was of age. Now they weren't kids. I'm saying I told them when they turned 18 and 20 and 21, we did a lot of things together, but David was respectful. So it was what I asked them a lot of forgiveness about for the guys that I had in the house and did things to show them that I didn't live the right way. Because what you model sometimes affects people, So I ask for forgiveness for a lot of things of that nature of doing me, but had the responsibility of them. And sometimes you have to give up you sometimes to do
it. And that was a sacrifice that you gave up you because of my state.
Yeah.
I had to give them up.
Right. Yeah. But we all still can ask for forgiveness.
Right, we can ask for forgiveness.
We did the best we could, but I would never tell them, you blessed the heck. No. Some of that stuff we did because we was young. We didn't know. So I'm just giving food for thought. Sometimes you can just ask your children, ask your husband, ask your wife, ask friends, family. Sometimes if I offended you, doing the best I could, I'm sorry. It doesn't take nothing off your back to be.
That's if you need humbleness. If you want to go on and relieve yourself, you can't move forward unless you get rid of the junk, the things in your past.
So I think this was healthy for me again. I'm not on the couch, but I'm in the seat, and every Wednesday, every time we go live, I'm going to tell you more and more that you didn't know about me, that bothered me coming up, because I want somebody else that maybe something that they held for a long time that you thought was silly. Sometimes you won't say something because you're like, really, that's what your problem is? There's people starving. You ever hear somebody tell you that, like, your problem don't matter? They downplay your, but I'm telling you, this was my issue. So I had a mother and a father. There's somebody who didn't have a mother and a father, but it didn't lessen what I felt with them. I had people to say, I wish I did have a mom and a dad at home. Sometimes I wanted them to go on vacation. They stay home too much. You know what I'm saying? As a child, 15, we wanted some free time, but somebody else saying, I wish I had somebody that was at home. So it's a give and take, but we're gonna come back next week.
How long do you think this therapy is gonna be?
Uh, okay.
I'm looking forward to
So
that.
is there a time limit on?
It's no time limit on it. I just want to know how long.
I waited this long. To start my therapy.
Okay.
It's never too late.
I know, growing one building a year.
Yes, but some people they don't think they even need it. But I'm being honest. I know I don't blame what I feel on others. But I tried to talk when I was young and they told me to be quiet. I blame that. You know why? I went in the military. I was always that person would try to tell you what was bothering me. But when you tell me that's not, or you don't have that problem, or that's something else I want to speak to. If somebody telling you I have a problem or something is bothering me, don't just dismiss them. I got dismissed a lot. I don't know if they didn't have answers for me. Maybe that was it. Maybe they didn't know what to do. But I used to try to sit down and talk to Daddy. I used to sit down and try to talk to Mommy about some things that was bothering me. But it was like, it's not. So I pay attention to people talk to me now. Give them an ear. You might not even have an answer. Just lend me an ear. Sometimes people don't. It's not even looking for an answer. They just want to dump. So that's all we have for today. I don't know if you got any parting words, but just remember forgiveness and laughter. That's my thing. I don't know what yours is, but unforgiveness is sickness, and it's not worth it.
Well, you know what my favorite.
What's your favorite?
What's the lady that's on Omega XL?
The lady that do the commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it?
She said, "I'm so proud of myself. I'm grateful to see this day where I can just be free,
right,
liberated.
Right.
I'm gonna talk whether you want to listen.
Yeah. Like we said before, if you can't find someone to talk to, write your letter.
Yep.
Talk to yourself. Get in the mirror. Relieve yourself. Just don't carry that. It's not worth the stress. It's not worth heart attacks. It's not worth strokes. It's not worth none of that holding stuff. And the other person who you're holding against is free.
What's going on?
Or, like you say, deceased.
Not only deceased,
they can
going on with
their life.
And you still
this lady told me one time, she said she's been married 3 times over. Him and he's enjoying. No, it's not worth it. So I'm not saying the pain or whatever, but get some help for it so you can live.
Yeah.
I want to live.
Right.
Is that the something? Is that the? No, I'm just joking. But I want to live.
Yeah.
So Gail, as we always say,
love
God, love family, work hard, and be kind. We see you all next week.